and I definitely am for land back movements. So I'm here to support and listen and learn. Thank you.
Whose land are you on?
Right now I'm on the Florida land. It used to be the Sequoia tribe, but actually I've been studying the land here. And it's interesting for the Florida history because most of the tribes in Florida were nomadic. And so there were three main, sorry, should I go on or shut up?
No, please.
There were three main tribes here. And it's interesting how they used to travel during the weather. So I think people mostly know, the Seminole, which was kind of the last tribe that they pushed out of Florida. And the other three tribes, I have their names written down and they're hard to pronounce, so I'm sorry about that. So I'm currently on what used to be, I think it was Tobaccoquan land in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, I used to live in Sarasota. Cool.
Well,
thank you for joining us. Tina Calderon, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what land you're on and what brought you today?
Sure. Mi'iha nehinkam netwanya netina komikrabet naha tongve koi elapsmixkanakan. Hello, relatives. My name is Tina Arduino Calderon. I am Gabrielino Tongva and Ventureño Chumash, and I do reside on my own traditional territories of the Gabrielino Tongva. I'm here to support the efforts of all of us reclaiming our lands. And as we know, those of us who are landless tribes and not federally recognized, it's a fight just to be able to steward our lands and take care of it the way we're supposed to. But I'm glad to be here with all of my northern relatives, and I will call upon my niece, Solange Aguilar.
Haku everybody, my name is Solange Aguilar. I'm currently in Mishopshno, Chumash territory. I am an indigenous and Filipino artist. I'm just here to listen and support land back movements. And I don't know anybody in here other than Tina, so whoever wants to go next, please go.
How about Patricia?
Hello, everyone. My name is Patricia. I currently reside in Visalia, which I believe is Yoka's territory. And I dance and sing, and I learn the language of, on my mother's side, Chumash, alongside with Tina. And I'm just very interested in the land back efforts, and I would like to learn more. So I thank you all for letting me join in on this meeting.
Oh, it's our honor. Thank you for joining us. How about Elvia? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Elvia Santana. You might even hear an echo right now because I'm actually Kanim Jewelina as Kanim, my relative. I'm here in support of her as well as my people, and I'm very much interested and appreciate this time that I get to share with you all and hear our people speak on the knowledge they know. Again, I'm here to support. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Nino Herrera, you're with us for a few minutes. Do you want to say hello and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. My name's Nino Herrera, and I'm a descendant of the Yaqui and Tarasco from northern Mexico and southern Arizona. I'm a neighbor of John's, and so John invited me to this group, and I support your cause.
Thank you so much for joining us, Nino. Yadao, is that the right way to say that?
Yado.
Yado, would you like to say something? Introduce yourself, what land you're on, why you're here today?
I'm in here in Willow Creek. I'm on Sinangwe land. I live in Hoopa, which is Hoopa land, and I'm from Yurok land primarily. And I'm here to help Jewelina.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. I think that that is all of our Indigenous brothers and sisters. Did I miss anyone? Okay, Jewelina, would you like to do a land acknowledgement or have one of your relatives do a land acknowledgement before we begin?
Yeah, I had to unmute myself, sorry. So my name is Jewelina Acosta. I'm from Yokaia Rancheria. I'm a descendant from there. I also have relatives up in Oregon from Chiloquin, Klamath. And reason why I'm hosting this was to bring all my relatives together, family, friends, so that way we can start talking about ways that we can begin working within our communities with one another and start teaching our youth about traditional ecological knowledge. And go ahead, sorry. Sorry, John. So that's why I invited everyone here. So I myself am a tattoo artist. I do paintings, acrylics. I teach traditional knowledge, whether it's with being out on the land, hunting, gathering, fishing. And one of the big issues with that Yokaia Rancheria has faced is the property lines that surround our 120 acres. So we're surrounded by ranchers where they've dammed up creeks. And I've had to, in order for me to continue practicing our culture, I have had to cross boundary lines. I've had to sit in meetings to speak up for our people to continue gathering abalone, or even going for fishing for salmon, or going and hunting. So for me, it's I had asked the people who are participating in this to come to this meeting specifically so they can talk about ways that we can begin getting involved. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jewelina. Javier, I understand you have a lot to say about what Jewelina was just speaking of. If you want to do a little bit deeper dive into what you've been working on and how we at Return California may be able to support you, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. Just a little bit more background about myself. I've been working for my tribe for basically since I got out of high school. Started out as in the water department and then became the environmental program manager there. And for 20 years, I was basically trying to develop an environmental program for the tribe and enhance the the tribe's trust land and manage it and dealing with the issues that we have to deal with on the reservation. So that covered quite a bit, but through the years, like Jewelina has mentioned, is that we never survived and subsisted off of a reservation style landscape. Tribal people were dealing with vast amounts of landscapes. We managed vast amount of landscape in order to achieve which was the highest quality of sustainable foods that we were able to get. And so when the settlers came in and removed the tribal people from the area, of course we were hit the hardest, diets and all such, but the removal of the tribal people from the land, changed it entirely, where we didn't have an idea where to go. We didn't have an idea of where to go harvest something to eat, or harvest something for our ceremonies, or harvest something for for our family. It wasn't easy anymore. We had fences. We had people that we had this rule called trespassing. Now this, you know, the trespassing, these laws. So we were prohibited from basically being ourselves. You know, up in the city of Fort Bragg, which is in Northern California, if you don't know, basically was a fort established to house Indians in the Mendocino Indian Reservation. It was about 27,000 acres, 27 miles by however many miles, 27,000 acres that were given to, or that were going to be provided for multiple tribes from across Northern California. And the reason that they chose this spot, which is, you know, my background, if you could see it, is this is part of the Indian reservation, the Mendocino Indian Reservation, was because of the bountiful supply of food and resources that the tribes were accustomed to gathering. And the government felt that, well, you know, look, we don't have to give them as many commodities and don't have to give them as supplement, you know, surplus food or whatever, however they're given as government food. So that was the reason they chose this location. But a couple years later, you know, it changed because of Civil War and because the value of the area they saw the value in the area and the redwoods. And so they began to come in and extract resources. And one of those resources was the abalone and also the fishing. So when the settlers came in, you know, there was, you know, and I'm going to say between the periods of even as early as the 1920s, basically the 1910 to the 1960s, you know, there was just a really pretty much unregulated fishery here in the north coast of California, where people were just, I mean, they just came in and gathered as much as you can and took abalone and really just got it down to where it's not much, there's not much around. We've never had to dive for abalone. Historically, we've always able just to gather abalone from the shore, but we've had to dive the last 20, 30 years because of the where the abalone, there's hardly any abalone and they're disappearing. But there's other factors going into that. Kelp loss, which bull kelp is the abalone staple food. That's what they like to eat. And right now, bull kelp is dying back, and they're being the bull kelp is not growing back as fast as it should. And there's a lot of factors into that. And that goes into climate change, and it goes into what we're doing on the land that impacts the waterways and what's going down the water systems. And so, you know, one of the contributing factors that they brought up is this warming blob that came through the ocean and really killed a lot of marine resources and species that were hit hard, the really sensitive ones. So anyways, I'm bringing it up because abalone is our staple food. It's used in ceremonies for tribes across the United States. And I've been involved with Fish and Wildlife, the California Fish and Wildlife's, I guess they call it the management plan for the red abalone and to deal with it. And so I've been involved with that and trying to drive tribal inclusion, tribal opportunities for management, tribal opportunities for increasing tribal participation on the ocean. One thing that my tribe, my federally recognized tribe that is in Willits, which is located 30 miles east of the ocean, feels that they are, feel sometimes like they don't, they're restricted from the ocean. And so, and there's a lot of issues that go in between the coming out to the coast and going inland. But these things have hindered tribal people from coming out to the coast. Private land statuses, gated communities, put up in areas where we've always harvested and subsisted. So, so anyways, my main point was I'm trying to get tribal inclusion in the red abalone in the state. One thing that it did do, they are looking at tribal allocations of abalone, because right now we're grouped up with everybody else. And so I am pushing for, and the tribes are pushing for, our own allocation, such as salmon is on the Klamath for the Yurok tribe and for, you know, the other tribes up there. Same thing like that is potentially doable for abalone across the state. And they're you know, this is something that we feel is given to us by the state of California, but no, this is something that we have never relinquished. We've never said you guys can manage our resources and we don't want it anymore. We've never said that. And so this is our responsibility, and we have to keep highlighting to them, we are the first peoples. This is our resources first. And so I've been involved in trying to increase tribal participation in that management plan. And I don't want to keep on going, but any questions, I mean, regarding red abalone? What we're looking for is you know, getting more of a tribal voice in the state that is responsible for driving some of these management decisions. And right now it's you know, it's primarily driven by sports and recreation, and you know, tribes usually get lumped up into that, which we're trying to prove that, hey, no, this is more than a sports and recreation to us. So any questions regarding that?
Please,
or is that kind of cover everything?
That's a big part of what we're working on.
How would you say that tribal members who live within the valley or even along the lakes can start getting involved in the management plans for the abalone? Because even when I was working for Sherwood and I had done the outreach, nobody knew about it, right? I had elders, I had kids who didn't know about these management plans that were going on. But what Fish and Game does is they tell us, the ones who do go into these meetings, they make it our responsibility, or the responsibility of tribal leaders, to put out that information, and it's not getting out there. So what are some ways that you've gone to reach out to tribal members within the community who aren't along the coast? Because that's a big issue, is that they're only reaching out to tribes that are along the coast or have land out that way.
Well, they try to give the tribes that are along the coast physically, you know, a little bit more weight, but really they're inviting all the tribes across the state. But the connection is, you know, the lack of connection that I constantly remind the state officials, state biologists, state people that I got to talk to, the wardens, is is that when they send something out to a federal government, because that's their obligation, they have to send it to the federal, you know, we have to notify the chairman of other tribes, that's not enough. And that's not enough to get out to the tribal membership, because then they're relying on that official and they're relying on that government structure to communicate that to a whole greater audience, which is their membership. And you would hope that they do, and hope that they get feedback from that. But I tell them, it's like, you can't expect that to happen in like a couple days. You can't expect that to happen in a month or two. This is something that's lifelong. This is something that each of the tribes need to consider also, like within themselves. It's like, how do we get all this information from our own members so that when we talking to these guys, we know what our members are doing. Not all 7 council members know where all the sedge gathering areas are. They don't know how to fish, you know, so that they can't all be the expert, right, for the tribe. And so one of my main messages to the state and to people that expect that, oh, I just sent a letter to the chairman and they didn't say anything. No, that's not enough, and that's your fault that that information is not getting to who it needs to get to. And just because you send it to the tribal official, that tribal official, and I get it, this is a whole nother thing, is these governments were set up to mimic the government that we're having, that are our babysitters, right? So they set up a process that they're forcing us to try to use, and it's like, no. And I always tell them, you know, back it up, because tribes are communities, tribes are communes, you know, we can't just, you know, that's one process, right? Is to say, okay, we'll put out to the government official, but you've got to do more. You have to continue to do that. Get out to that tribe, talk to their members, get out when they're fishing, go out to the spots. Your wardens are out there. And the other thing I talk about with the wardens, and I've talked to the head honchos, is there has to be some education level there, rather than no, you can't, and yes, you can, because they don't even understand tribal hunting, fishing, gathering rights in the state. And then when they try to lump us up, oh, well, you know, they're supposed to follow the rules too. Well, that's going out to the public too that way. And so how does everyone feel? Like, well, I see tribal people down there. And so anyways, yeah, getting off into those things. But
No, thank
hope
you.
that answers. But that's
Yeah,
something that I
and,
think I would ask everybody to say, hey, keep telling them, yeah, talk to me, but talk, you know, you have to do more of your messaging.
And that's kind of why I'm holding this meeting, and I had asked everyone to join in, is because these are things that we need to be knowing about, that it's important. Because when I was doing the outreach, like I said, there were our tribal members who didn't know this information, but also tribal members who didn't know what abalone even looked like in the ocean, you know, out along the shore, like how we were able to make sure that abalone can survive for generations. That knowledge isn't even there for everyone. So I know that it's here for me, and one of the problems is that I see these tribal leaders, and we've talked about this, is how I don't eat abalone, so we don't need to know about it. It doesn't matter, right? But it's like it doesn't matter whether it doesn't matter whether you eat it or not. There's someone out there like myself who wants to go out and gather. You know, I started gathering when I was just 7, you know, going out there along the coast with my grandma and being told by Fish and Game that we weren't allowed to. You know, we needed to put the abalone back, and criminalizing us, right? So I think that with knowledge comes power. And so for me, you know, speaking about abalone, there's things that I know about abalone that I can teach. But one of my issues is that I don't have the credentials to be a teacher. So that's one of my things that I'm trying to get into for myself. But is there any like programs, curriculum, anything that focuses on abalone right now? Because when I was working for Sherwood and I was going to the meetings, the MO step meetings, Nina had brought up how Kashaya was trying to do the abalone farming, right? And so she had done a presentation where she showed the work that she was doing with the youth out there and educating them. And is there anything like that that's going on right now?
No, nothing like that's going on right now. But the other thing is like some of that education is based on Western science too. And so some of, you know, we need to be able to get a way of having the stories, you know, because when I was young, you know, I was lucky enough to have the elders come out here. I heard them talking. They weren't basically talking to me, but I overhear them talking, and I remember those things and the intertribalness of it, you know. And so that opportunity is still here. It's just getting folks back, you know, into these locations. And one of the biggest things is you know, historically we've always had to run and hide. We've always had to hide. We've had to sneak around to do something, and we've always had that feeling. I still have that feeling, even though I have a license or something to go get something. I still feel like, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? You know, and so that keeps people away. And this is something I really harp down on the state. You know, the cost to go and get a license for anything, whatever. And then where you got to go, and it's you grouping us up with everybody else. And how comfortable do we feel about that in our own homeland, right? We shouldn't feel like that. And so that has hindered us. And it goes back to why we haven't eaten abalone, why people haven't, you know, what they haven't even tried it. Some people don't even want to try it because they know it's a snail. It's like, oh, I don't want to try it because it's a snail. No, you know, there's a reason that our forefathers, our ancestors survived on this. And how is it not connected to other species which you might enjoy, which is seaweed or you know, fishes? You know, it's like they're all connected. We cannot say, you know, one cannot survive without the other. And that was our biggest, the tribal voice in the North Coast when they were trying to limit, you know, tribes from fishing and gathering in certain areas, was saying, hey, look, no, you know, we need to get back out there. We need to do this. This is why, because it's all connected, whether we're seaweed or abalone, you know, there's a connection, you know. And so we're the ones that's saying that. They always want to say, oh no, do you care seaweed more or do you care about abalone more? And
I got a couple things. I think, sorry, I joined a little bit late. I don't know, I didn't hear the first topic that you guys are on, but just thinking about kind of where things have gone over the last few years and being able to get out there and dive for a lot of years and be in a position now where that connection is being forced on, or the disconnect is being forced on us in terms of, you know, for us saying, well, you know, it's a subsistence gathering. We go out there and we gather for health, for well-being, not just what we eat, but spiritually, mentally, physically. And I think that that given that opportunity to the state or oversight committees or whatever it is to try to break that, right? Because I look at it like from a perspective of them and saying, well, you guys haven't gathered for 2 years, you haven't gathered for 3 years. Do you really need it? Do you really need to have that connection? Do you really still have that? And so even given that idea that there's some kind of lack of connection, or that there's some kind of doubt that we're not connected in that way, it goes back to kind of what you're talking about in terms of saying, well, some people might not need it, but we fight for rights. And I mean, Javier, one person I see, you know, all over the place doing things and advocating and speaking and bringing it up. And just the fact that there is somebody out there that could be gathering, somebody out there that could be doing it, that's the connection. If we allow any oversight to say, well, you know, what is that connection, or question that connection, or put in some kind of doubt to that, then it gives them more ammunition almost to say, well, you know, you guys really didn't gather for 5 years. It was close for 5 years and you look pretty healthy to me. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the thing that we gotta eliminate and slow down and stop and make sure that regardless of what's going on, that our people out there gathering, and whether it's legal under the state of California or not, that connection is still there and they're still doing it now because of the fact that it just can't be broke. Like it's something in internally in this that's just already there, right? So it's like some kind of, whether it's intuition or just a sense or whatever it is, to want to be a part of that, to, you know, the gathering part of it, the food part of it, the spiritual part of it, the ceremonial part of it, all of it is connected. And I think that that we got to be conscious of the fact that we can't allow that, you know, to kind of happen. And just because it's not okay under the state of California to not get abalone, it's like, yeah, but we're not going to break our connection or feel like we're giving into that just because you feel like we should, I guess. So anyway, that's just what I'd say.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm Sonny Elliott, the tribal chairman from the Hoplin Band of Pomo Indians. My dad is from here in Hoplin. My grandfather's from Hoplin. My grandmother's from Eddyville. and so, I'm connected there. And then my mom was Mountain Maidu from Plumas and Lassen County. And I've been on my tribal council for a few years now. And a lot of things, like I said, there's people out there that that I see here today, that it's the advocacy and the things that we that need to be said, the meetings that needed to be attended, and just coming here to this one, I don't really know about the the ins and outs of this group here, and so I wanted to kind of jump on and just get a feel for kind of what the direction is, what the message is, and what's going on. Try to be involved anytime when it comes to us being content. I think it's always a mistake, what I mean, to be content with what we have. It's a mistake to feel comfortable where we are, and not to push our limits and our sovereignty as much as we can consistently, because that's the only way we expand on it. That's the only way we are more inclusive, and so it's just kind of it's something that I'm all for. If that's what the message is, that's what it is we're doing, or if that's what this group's going for, then definitely something that we support. So.
And one thing you touched on, Sonny, because you've been part of this, and one thing that it always goes back to is co-management. And if we're talking about land back, prior to any land back, these are happening right now, these impacts. And so prior to any we need land back, this is our land, whether or not we have a piece of paper that says we own it. This is our land. And that brought up this idea of co-management with the state. It's like, okay, well, we're going to manage these resources together. Well, that means that the tribes need to also understand what's going on out there, have access, have data, have information, being able to be out there doing it, and also be a part of the decision making, actual decision making. And that's my biggest push, Sonny. It's like, we need to be at the table. Yeah, you invite us, and you list us as one of the sponsors, but we actually need to be one of those people to say yes or no.
And it was big at that time when the co-management discussion was brought up, and we were kind of going through that process, and then the MLPA, the marine protected areas that were put into place, moving up the state. I mean, before they got to this area, to this region, there was no tribal representation going all the way up from Southern California, Central California, North Central, all up to Northern California, till they got to this area where tribes pushed and showed up to the meetings and made sure that there was tribal representation. Javier, I mean, sure, we was kind of involved in that, but I think making sure that and he's still hanging in there, those committees and all those panels, and pushing for the voice. And I think but just to get those seats, those four seats or something that got on there, that 2 and 2 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a struggle, just the tribe members, like, tribes, why would you have any say in this? Almost like that was the feeling going to the meetings, was like they didn't even think twice about inviting tribes to the table, or saying, okay, what is your input? Even not even at a seat at the table, what is your input? It wasn't even that. So yeah, it does take advocacy, and it does take pushing.
Yeah, and one part of the co-management that I really want to still push, and we talk about it, is the the having to capitulate to state regulations regarding any of the hunting, fishing, and gathering rules and laws. And so there should be tribal exemptions to that, and how that looks is how each tribe will have to determine it. I mean, that's work for us to do, but there needs to be that, and we need to say to the state, hey, look, we allow our tribal members to go out and do this and this in these areas, and that's what happens. And we don't need to provide you with all that information. We'll provide that, as we feel you need to know. And so that's where we're hoping to go. And that's when I'm talking with the state, they agree, but it's hard letting some things go, as far as control. And then the tribes also need to be active in that role too. Like I say, I want to get more tribal members out here. I want to get more tribal people out here. I want to get them young, and old, and get them out here and say, hey, look, this is what it looks like right now. This is what it looks like right now. What do you think? What do your stories say? What does your parents say? What does your grandparents say? Because we need those stories up and down the coast. And the other thing I wanted to mention that I'm working on is the language. part of land back, part of response, part of co-management is bringing back our language and our songs to these areas, these where it hasn't been for 100 years. And so that's another piece that is missing in out here.
And I think, a good point to make, especially when it comes to dealing with the state or regulatory, is getting the message across that the way we gather is management, right? The way we gather is the way it should be done, and the right way of preserving, those resources and preserving things. That's why they were so abundant. And so, there's always that feeling that I get sometimes of people when it comes to Native people in California of like, well, things didn't just jump out of the river into our laps, or they didn't just fall down from the trees and already processed. There's a lot of things that we did, and the time it took to kind of make these things happen, it wasn't just given to us, but we thrived. And I think that the message is always that the way we gather, the way that, and they're asking for that knowledge now. They want that knowledge now on how it was done, so that these resources can be managed in a good way. And that's what it comes down to is just having tribes at the table and involved, and then they get the message across and understand what we've been trying to push the whole time. So,
hey, really quick, while there's a pause here, we have a couple new people join us. I was hoping that we could have them introduce themselves. Jewelina. So,
I wasn't keeping track of who the participants that jumped on.
Okay.
Let's see. So I do know Karen.
Karen Alvis.
Karen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Karen Alvis, and I live in Windsor, and I am trying to become so much more familiar with Native indigenous ways of the Pomo people, and try to educate our community to learn as much as they can about our local tribe, and make life more better for our Native people in our community and our schools. So I'm just a citizen of Windsor that's very interested in this topic. So thank you for letting me be here. Thank you.
Karen, can you let the participants know how you know me?
Okay, sure. I'm really proud to do that. So I became part of a group called Community Healing, which is, like I said earlier, is about educating our community about specifically the Lytton Pomos that just got land sovereignty here. And part of our community healing, we decided we wanted to do a mural project that was inspired by Native Americans on town property. That was our goal. And thankfully, the town of Windsor okayed us having 2 murals in the city limits, one on their public works building and one on a gymnasium called Huerta Gym. And I met Jewelina through Rose Hammock, and Jewelina has so generously accepted the project, and she's working with Bonnie Lockhart on designing a mural that's going on Huerta Gym, and it's named the Wisdom Tree. And we can't wait to see what the final draft will look like and to present it to the town council in January for approval of the art. So it's a pleasure working with Jewelina and Bonnie and Rose Hammock. I'm super excited about this and this gift to the community. Yes, so thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you,
Thank
Jewelina.
you. Thank you for being here, Karen.
Oh, thanks for letting me know.
And then we have, let's see, Cheryl. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hello, my name is Cheryl Madrigal. I'm the tipo for the Rincon Band of Luiseño Indians, and we're located in San Diego County. So I saw the email and what was forwarded to me. I believe it sounded interesting, so I'm just here to kind of listen in and learn.
Okay. And then, thank you for being here. Can you just give us a little background about yourself as well? Type of work that you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a member of the Palma Band of Luiseño Indians, and I work on the Rincon Reservation, which is one of our neighboring reservations here. So my background is in history, Native American studies, and museum studies, and I have been since last year served as the Tribal Historic Preservation Officer here for the Rincon Band. Our work includes obviously management of tribal cultural resources, natural resources on and off reservation.
Perfect, thank you. And then, Kelly Lopez?
Haku Haku, can you hear me?
Yes.
Haku, Kelly Kakti Kapanish Humolo ki Swahil ke Siuchtun. Haku Haku, everybody. My name is Kelly. I live on my ancestral home, Siuchtun, which is Santa Barbara. I am Smuich Chumash and part of CBCN, and that's actually how I heard about this. And my ancestral village is Swahil out on Santa Cruz, or we call her Limu Island. I'm here as a youth for CBCN, or my Chumash Nation. I'm just really excited to be here and hear more about, you know, what our people are doing. I think right now in the quarantine is a really important time to be supporting our people, as, you know, they're coming at us hard, attacking our land. So I'm just here to support and uplift and learn as much as I can to spread awareness. And so, yeah, it's good to be here.
And it's Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's nice to meet you. And what are you kind of interested in learning, particularly with TEK, traditional ecological knowledge, or even with regalia making, art, dance? What are you interested in? What's something that even well, myself, if I were to reach out to you and start working with you, what is something that you would like to get involved with?
I'm actually, before COVID happened, I was actually really involved with our community in restoring our horticultural knowledge, like our plant stuff and how to land, and reinstituting our reciprocity and our relationships with the land in a sustainable way. And I'm really interested in doing plant work and doing medicine work, and I also do a lot of art, making traditional instruments and jewelry. And so that's kind of what I do. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. So how long have you been on the call? Sorry.
How long have I been on the call?
Mm-hmm.
I came in like 15 minutes late.
Okay, so kind of what this meeting is for myself is I'm trying to connect everyone with one another, so that way we can start reaching out to youth and get you engaged and keep you interested in our ways. And I'm noticing that with the COVID pandemic, it's made our abilities to reach out to our community a lot harder. But there will be more of these meetings, as well as I do a lot of gathering and hunting myself. I'm hosting workshop that will focus on MMIW, and it will teach students how to paint, work with acrylics, also get familiar with our traditional headdresses, how to make necklaces, because it's all going to go together and it'll be on a canvas. If you're interested in that, you can put your email in the chat, and then I'll go ahead and reach out to you and send you that link if you're interested in participating in that. If you're interested in learning about abalone, I'm sure that Javier would reach out to you. And this goes for everyone. If you're interested in learning anything that you heard today, you can reach out to, you can put your emails in the chat and just let us know what you're interested in. So thank you. It's nice to meet you, Kelly.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here and meet you all.
And does anyone else want to say anything? Some of your background, some services you can provide to anyone on this call?
Yeah, I think I have something to say.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
We're looking for commentary from Chick-fil-A territory. Did I pronounce that right?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and have my cousin Elvia speak for a moment, if that's all right, John.
Yes, of course.
Okay, and this relates to her being a secretary through CIMC and being able to put out some of the newsletters or information that if Javier has any or anyone on the call, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I had skipped sharing where I'm from, but just for the sake of sharing that also, I'm an enrolled member of the Cloverdale Rancheria tribe of Pomo Indians. My family descends from the areas of Northern California that extend to the coast of Point Arena, Manchester, all the way up to Covelo. Again, my relative, as I had shared, Kanim, is Jewelina Acosta. We are related to our great-grandmothers. I myself, as Kanim had shared, I am a secretary for a nonprofit organization. It is a Native-based organization that helps our Native American, Native Alaskan, Native Hawaiian communities, specifically for where I work, for the areas of Sonoma, Napa Lake, and Mendocino counties. It is a workforce organization that works under the WIOA program. We do make those attempts to help our communities to self-sufficiency through their employment. The program is very much, I will share, CIMC, for instance, helped me when I was 18. I remember enrolling with the program, and one of my first jobs was when I lived on a reservation. I lived on the Hopland Reservation at that time and lived in the housing area. And my first job was as a teacher's assistant and for the preschool there on the tribe. And they helped me. It's a great program. Again, it was an experience in itself. I was on a short-term work experience. The program is very much there to help our people with supportive services as need be. You know, again, I used to walk from home to work, like it was just like right up the way. But again, the program is there to help our people even then. Kind of fast forward to now, I work for them, and it's a great organization, a great resource for our people. This program is out of Sacramento. Their offices do extend there's a Chicago-based, even there's a Reading-based. There's a Fresno base, a San Bernardino area base that services our natives in those specific counties. Yeah, that's a little bit on that. Again, I'm all in support of such native-based organizations and are in support of our people in those ways of self-sufficiency, of seeking resources within our communities that do help our people, because those resources, though, I mean, they're scarce in that there's only specific programs out there that will help, and then there's the county, and then there's, you know, but again, coming back to CMC, it's a great resource to help for Native people.
Thank you, Kanim. So you want to talk about the cultural video that we'll be working on and educating? So, Kanim had asked me to work on a video, a short clip video with her, learning with the process of collecting the materials and making a top knot. It's a regalia that we wear when we dance. And we're not sure yet of the time frame, but that will be a video that will be made available to the public. Is that right? So, I'm not sure if you want to have anybody else speak, John, give a little bit of background for yourself as well, and the work that you do.
Oh, thank you.
So that way everyone's a little bit familiar with why they're also getting on this call, why I asked them to take part in this call.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have built this platform with the intention of handing it over to California's indigenous people, and really just here to listen. We know that there's an immense amount of work that needs to be done, and we know that allies and accomplices really want to learn what they can do to facilitate these conversations and to use their power and privilege to create spaces for indigenous people's voices to be heard and shared and amplified. And so that's the mission of Return California. It began as an outreach effort from Yes California, which is a California independence campaign. We believe that with an independent California, all the current municipal and federal land should be returned outright to the tribes for stewardship, along with a budget from the plurinational government to help manage that land and provide resources for the tribes to use to make that a reality. We want to provide a space to share information that tribes can access to learn how to navigate the complicated systems that exist, but also to create new systems and to create an autonomous nation within California of all the sovereign nations with representation in whatever government we decide to facilitate. Plurinationalism is already a big reality for people in Palm Springs, for example. It's also called checkerboard governance, where every parcel of land has checkerboard, and every other square belongs to either the municipality or the tribe. And nothing can happen in any of those squares without the consent of both parties. So that's worked really well for their governance systems. And we're hoping that something like that can happen here. We have a couple people that joined the call late and that I'd like to hear speak. Rudy and Chichkale, I think, are the two that we haven't heard from. I'd love to hear from them. And thank you so much for all being here.
Thank you, John. Rudy, you want to introduce yourself? Maybe not.
He's still muted.
And then,
oh, the person from Chichkale territory says they're just listening today. Thank you for being here.
so that was all that I had on the agenda for today. I did want to, no problem, just listening. So, like I had said earlier in the call, my intention was to connect everyone with one another so that way we can all introduce ourselves, talk about ways that we've been personally working within our community and how we can help. Because it is important that you are here. It's nice to come in and listen, but what are you really gonna take away from this when you get off this call? So I have gotten to know John, and I've been on many of those, well, not many, I've gotten on a few of those calls. And one of the biggest issues that I seen was that there was that land acknowledgement, but there was really no action behind it. So for me, I wanted to invite everybody here so that way they could speak. You have this opportunity to speak on what's important to you and what you're doing within our community. For myself, I have been I have been working out on the land since I could remember, since I was a little girl, and there's always been the system, right, has always come against me. There's always been barriers that I've had to overcome. And there's been a lot of times that I've actually had to fight to protect what it is that our ancestors did. So for me, this call is more important than just coming together and listening. It's about us engaging and talking about real ways that we are going to co-manage this land, right? Because we can't forcibly remove anybody. We can't shut people down. We have to begin listening and communicating. And so for me, I'm hoping that if there was something that you heard on this call that you liked, something that you do want to get more involved in, that you reach out to the proper people who have that knowledge or who have that background or who have the positions to help get you to where you need to be, which is just you know, continuing to practice our culture. And so, thank you. And that's all I have to say, John.
One thing I wanted to real quick, Jewelina, I just wanted to chime in real quick about the, I don't know if you're familiar with the governor's new order out there to work with tribes and looking at giving back some state lands, state park lands. And that's something that I think tribes should pay attention to, and subsistence harvesters and gatherers should pay attention to.
So, are you able, did you put your email in the chat box, Javier?
No, but I can.
Okay.
I'll do that right now.
We'll be following up with everybody who RSVP'd, so we have a comprehensive list of everyone who RSVP'd for this call. Unless otherwise stated, we'll add you to our mailing list. And as of this week, we are aiming to host these roundtables weekly, the same time every Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock. So anyone who has a topic that they'd like to present to California's indigenous community, we'll provide this platform, we'll manage all the RSVPs, and create an opportunity for indigenous people and allies and accomplices to have a platform to share their concerns and their victories and their successes. Please take an opportunity to visit yescalifornia.org to see the current initiative that's being circulated for petitions. Within that is the establishment of a commission to assess the ins and outs of independence. And one of the key platform issues can be found on the federal lands page on yescalifornia.org. And returncalifornia.org is hopefully going to be indigenous-led very soon. Our goal here at Return California is just to facilitate this platform and support in any way that we can. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out through our website, email returncalifornia@gmail.com. Jewelina or myself are always standing by to answer these questions. And all the roundtables are posted on the YouTube channel, so you can see what's been discussed in the past and the format that we're trying to perpetuate. It's been extremely popular and really exciting. There's so much awesome stuff happening in the California indigenous community at the moment, and so many people that don't know about it. There's 4 dams on the Klamath River that are supposed to come down. Massive amounts of land are being returned to the tribes. The Mountain Mighty received 3,000 acres from PG&E. I'm here on Nisenan land in Grass Valley. They received a large tract from Nevada County. The Esalen received a big chunk of land back. The Wyatt in Humboldt received their ceremonial island back in trust. So these things are happening all over the place at fever pace. And we really just want to provide curriculum and a central location for you to access all this amazing information, curriculum and language resources and traditional ecological knowledge resources. The host of our 3rd roundtable was Steve Walensky from CHIPS. He's running a consortium of indigenous peoples who are doing land restoration projects all over the state. So there's just so much happening, and we really want to amplify it so that the world knows what's happening here. So thank you everyone for joining us so much. I really appreciate it. If anyone has anything to say, we'll leave the channel open for a while, and you can all unmute yourselves and talk amongst yourselves, ask questions. You might want to post them in chat so it's not just a jumble, but thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John, and everyone.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for participating in this landmark listening. We who are not Indigenous learn so much from you every time this happens. And we hope to keep on learning.
Right
Thanks.
on.
Thanks for joining us, Matt, or Zorro.
Yep. It is always more important to outthink your opponent than to outfight them.
Hey, Professor Williams, you said you had some research that you'd done during your time at Indigenous Studies at UCLA. Did you want to take this opportunity to share some of that? You got to unmute yourself, Professor.
Does that get it?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Back when I was professor teaching Native American history at the UCLA American Indian Studies Center, I edited a book called Indian Leadership, and it looked at patterns of leadership in the 20th century. That what were effective tribal leaders and intertribal leaders and this sort of thing. And so I'm wondering if, considering the time, if it would be better to wait until next week's meeting to do that. What would you like?
That's fine with me. We have several people on this call from the California Independence Movement who have graciously offered to host the next roundtable a week from today. Jewelina hopefully can join us again and kind of help us transition and figure out what's the best path forward. We've already established an advisory council of Black, Indigenous, people of color to guide us and to provide us with advice about the best ways to continue to create a platform that feels inclusive and where people feel that their voices are heard and what's important to them is supported. So yeah, I'm just so beside myself right now. Like the people who are on this call and who were on this call are so incredible. There's so much knowledge to be shared and energy to harness. I'm just so thankful. So thank you again, everybody. We hope to see you all next week at the same time. Same link, same chats. Everything's the same. You don't even have to RSVP. You all that are here, it's the same link every week. So you just check in at 1 o'clock. And if you can't make it, check out our YouTube channel or our website because the videos are hosted there as well. So unless anyone has anything else to say, I'll say.
If I could real quick.
Oh yeah, please.
Wait,
yeah,
Jason,
hold on, Jason. Hold on just a second, Jason. I'm sorry. Rudy, you said subbed. What is that?
Oh, subtitles?
I'm not sure what he meant. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you so much. Please provide us some feedback. We're happy to custom tailor the channel to your liking. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, so my name is Jason Wright. I'm the Bay Area Regional Coordinator from the Yes California. Been doing this CalExit, California Independence thing for some years now. I posted in chat there some of my skill set that I offer freely and openly to anyone who, especially our Native brothers and sisters. But anyone who needs any of those skills, with like refining a message to make it hit home with the bureaucrats a little bit better. I will do it for free because I believe in the cause, right? I personally believe that all of the people that are here in California, no matter what background, no matter what culture, but most especially, it must include our indigenous brothers and sisters. I believe we are all Californians, first and foremost, right? We are all in this together. That's why I am fully behind us using our next. So every Sunday we have Calexicon, and we all meet on a Zoom, another Zoom channel, and we discuss, you know, the goings on, much like what went on here today. Any and all Native nations are more than welcome to show up at those at any time. They're every Sunday at noon. And this Sunday, part of it will be to hammer out the details, such as like what we would need to do, what should we do to be a good host for, you know, the upcoming listening session on the Tuesday. So please attend and provide some input. We would really appreciate it, and we will graciously take it all.
Thank you so much, Jason. Much appreciated, brother. We have so much happening right now. I've recently started a platform which will help organize all of the people that want to help with this process. I put it in the chat right now. You can see the name of the platform is Gilded, and I will post the link to the onboarding platform. You can log on and browse around. Feel free to ask me some questions. We know in our hearts that this movement is going to catch fire. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And as soon as people start to understand what's happening here in California, we're going to have global support, because indigenous people have the moral high ground. Their land was stolen and it needs to be returned. It's pretty simple. So we're going to keep advocating for that, and we're going to keep yelling at the top of our lungs for it to happen. And we're going to try every single thing that we can to make it clear to everyone out there what's happening here.
John?
Absolutely, brother.
John, this is tremendously exciting news that you just alluded to about land already being returned in these different places. Is it possible to make a list showing just, you know, what is happening in all these different, even if it's small returns? I think the more examples that you can give that this is already happening, the more it makes it seem that this is not just possible, but probable.
Well, not just probable, it's actually happening. We are using the returncalifornia.org website as that platform. It's pretty bare bones right now because I don't want to take any liberties with indigenous voices. Right? I need them to take over this platform. Anyone that wants to post anything or has any resources to share, curriculum for school teachers to use from all over the state. You know, these are all things that are that are completely doable. We can do anything, we just can't do everything. And that's the reason why this Gilded platform is so important, because we'll be able to really organize all the volunteers and all the efforts. And anybody that can help us with those things is welcome on every level, because Jewelina and I have been doing this all by ourselves. So it's you know, there's definitely support. We've gotten a lot of support from Marcus and Matt and Sue. But the lion's share of the work has been on our shoulders. So we're really excited that so many people are taking an interest and offering to volunteer. So this platform on Gilded will really help facilitate these conversations. But we have to remember that we cannot rely on technology. There's a lot of people out there that don't have this access, that don't have this technology. So we need to make sure that we keep an analog option open, and that we have these conversations with people in our day-to-day lives in real time every single day. Like whenever you have an opportunity to bring this up, you should. And you should ask people to do the same thing. Like make a hard ask. Say, we're working on this right now. Will you tell 5 people about it? And ask them to tell 5 people about it? Because we are actively gathering signatures on an initiative to the California government to return land, to have a commission that assesses the validity of this proposal. And once the commission releases their findings, Californians vote on it, right? This system is so completely corrupt and broken, and we have the power. We just need to exercise it. So, anybody have any questions or anything to add? I'm gonna look for that Gilded link to share with you all.
I posted the videos from the previous Return California sessions in the chat. I also posted the Return California CalExit commercial that explains what Return California is and how it works with CalExit. So just go to chat. You can see the YouTube link, and there's also the returncalifornia.org link. And thank you, Jason Wright, Bay Area Regional Director for Yes California CalExit. We put the CalExit This Sunday conference link at the request of John Simha, Yes California Regional Director. And everybody's invited. This Sunday, please come, share the link. You are welcome to come, and we can continue the dialogue.
Great, thank you so much, Marcus. Appreciate that. This will all be available for people to peruse in the future. I just put the link to our organizational structure. So those of you that have access to smartphone apps, computer, whatever, can access that. If you follow that link in your browser and do your onboarding first before downloading the app, that'll make the onboarding a lot easier. Any questions?
Yeah, John, just so you know, I mean, I just clicked on my browser for that, and somehow it's not, it's putting an error on there. So is it just a phone app, or is it a web app as well?
There's a app for the computer also. You should be able to use that link to maybe copy and paste it directly into your browser.
Could try that.
Has anyone else tried it?
Yes, I tried it and it's working.
Okay, great.
It is? Okay.
Well, I went to an interface that says accept Johnny's invite to join Return California.
That's exactly what I'm looking at too. Gonna make a username, tie it to my email, make a little password.
There you go.
Dan, check your browser. Check your browser, brother.
Could be. It could be because I'm on a Mac, and a lot of times Safari. I have different browsers, so I'll have to try it on a different browser.
Yeah. Copy and paste it into DuckDuckGo because this is an encrypted application, and I can't wait. It like replaces Signal and Zoom and Discord and Slack. It's like all those in one. So and it's open source.
here to invite Canyon here today so they can have a listening session.
Sorry, who was that?
That was one of the videos playing, I think.
Yeah, that was the video. Sorry. That was me.
Cool. That's all right.
I'm clicking all over the place. It just went off.
I'm
No,
really,
that's good. Yeah.
I'm really glad that that you're clicking all over the place. That's exciting. We just got somebody that registered here. Let's see. I just got a notice.
Probably me.
Is it a bunch of numbers and letters? CVX something.
Oh, no.
Maybe.
RDOP3MNM has joined the server.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
It gives you both. So I got Jason and Marcos. Marcos, Imelda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the left, if you're doing it on your computer, it's kind of like a tab sectioning. If you're doing it on your phone, you can swipe back and forth, and you'll see different sections, different channels. So essentially you have the server, which is Return California. Then you have the platform, and then within the platform you have different channels. So we can talk about the initiative, we can talk about news, current events. There's different servers that you can get on. There's setup checklists, there's a calendar. There's so many tools, and it's so easy to use. And you know, it's really awesome. We're working with this platform with the Movement for a People's Party, and their tech guru is writing all of these programs for bots that will help people transition into the system and learn how to use all the features. And it's an absolutely incredible organizing tool. And the bots make it so that people get real-time responses to their inquiries, to signing up. We can create questionnaires for what people want to do, how they want to get involved, create different groups for people to be a part of. So the possibilities are endless. So I'm really looking forward to exploring this future technology with all y'all.
Yeah, I'm downloading Gilded as we speak.
Make sure, Matt, that you log on through the web browser before you download the app, before you sign into the app.
Oh, this is like Discord.
It's like Discord on steroids. It's like Discord and Zoom had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And for those tech savvy people among us, please take the lead. Like I feel like I feel like a paraplegic.
I will need to learn the ins and outs manually a little bit more, but I use Discord for my personal YouTube gaming channel. I also have my own personal Discord server, right? So I could totally explain, like, you know, the purpose and the general principles behind it, and, like, you know, what some of the lingo means as far as like a server versus a channel.
Mm-hmm.
But then most of the rest of it, I mean, you've got things labeled here, public announcements. What's that for? If you need to see some public announcements, they're right there. And you'll know when there's a new one because it'll show up red. It'll be like, hey, you have a public announcement.
Right, or it's highlighted.
Yeah. This is great, really.
Yeah, so you can see I just created a CIM channel for the California Independence Movement.
Woo! Woo-woo.
and I just posted in there, so it should be highlighted on your screen. You'll see a setup checklist, and you'll want to go through that and familiarize yourself with it. Hey, there's Jason. So I'm going to create a group within Return California, and we're going to call that Indigenous Peoples.
Oh, there we go. Download for Mac, okay.
Do it through your browser first, Daniel. You'll thank me
That's
later.
what I'm doing. I finally got the page. It wouldn't load, but now I'm seeing that.
Oh, I see you now. You just joined.
Yeah.
Daniel,
Hey, good work,
Daniel Hollywood.
Just got it. And I'm actually, there's an actual program for the computer for the Mac, actually, with that. So I'm downloading that too.
Should I pick a picture of me holding my homegrown potatoes as my picture?
I don't know. That depends. Is that a euphemism?
No, it is not. It is quite literal. Yeah, you know, that's one of the things that, like, every time I hear the traditional ecological knowledge, I'm like, oh, yes, please, I want more. You know, because I'm originally from up there. You probably know of the Mill House property. I spent some years on that property working that farm, taking care of the animals, taking care of the farm. They didn't have the 3-acre plot going until myself and the greenhouse manager ended up petitioning the farm owners to, like, till up that soil and let us use it. We grew tons of stuff, man, like literal tonnage.
Nice.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Nice. I'm still.
And that's stuff that I totally, and we didn't, like, you know, use a bunch of chemicals and stuff. It was just organic, and not because organic was like a craze, just because that's the healthy way to do it. And, like, that's the stuff that I totally, like, if there's a day where, you know, I mean, obviously on a cane, I maybe can't go out and forage alongside. Maybe I could. I don't know. I'll try for sure. But, like, you know, I just totally want to get involved with all of that. Tending forest and, you know, what to touch and what not to touch and when and why. Right? That's all stuff that's really close to my heart because I love it. How I grew up.
Awesome. So I made all y'all captains, which should give you the opportunity to create bots and open channels. And I really want everybody involved in this channel in this server to feel a sense of ownership. We need everybody to serve as administrators to the channel. We can kick people out, mute people, whatever needs to happen. Yeah, I've just been so incredibly impressed as I've learned more and more about this platform. We can create a custom bot. So anytime anyone in the system does anything, a bot can acknowledge it and let one of the administrators know that something has happened. The bots can communicate all the things that that you're doing over and over and over again, like sending out RSVP links and responding to messages. And they're so smart that they can figure out if you know, a real person is needed to communicate. So it's just awesome. Marcus is going to town in here. He's got the link up for Sunday. We got the Roundtable flyer posted. This is all in miscellaneous chat, but we can create a new channel and call it, you know, let's call it political outreach. And the channel type can be announcements. All right, we just had someone else join. Let's see who that was. Hey, Zorro. Matt, you made it.
Yep.
Good work, brother.
Thank you. Okay.
I just made you a captain. So there's five captains.
Oh my God. Scary thought.
Marcus is already level 4 captain. So is Jason.
I just want to see how it works.
It's fucking cool, right?
I have no idea how it works so far. Looking at
Just fuck around, Dan. Just fuck around with it. Like you'll start picking it up. Just start fucking around with it. Don't think. Just start trying.
Well, the only thing to be aware of is please don't remove people.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing. But there's not really much here right now. So like, you know, if you want to